प्रेम से बोलिए सद्गुरुदेव भगवान की जय। अखंड मंडलाकार है, व्यापक विश्व महान, सो सद्गुरु का रूप है, अनुभव में पहचान। जो अब के सद्गुरु मिले, सब दुख राखो रोज, चरणों पर शीश धरी, कहो जो कहना हो। सद्गुरु मेरा मिलेंगे, पूछेंगे कुशला, आदि अंत की सब कहूँ, और अंतर की बात। शत्रु मित्र नहीं जगत में, सबको एक समान, भजन विवेक विचार में, सबसे रहे अमान। प्रेम से बोलिए सद्गुरुदेव भगवान की जय। My heartiest salutation from bottom of my heart to the lotus feet of every breath protector, अनंत श्री सद्गुरु सदाफल देव जी महाराज, प्रथमाचार्य श्री धर्मचंद्र देव जी महाराज, परंपरा सद्गुरु श्री स्वतंत्र देव जी महाराज. Our heartiest salutation from bottom of my heart to divine endearment, our caring mother Mata ji, संत प्रवर श्री विज्ञान देव जी महाराज, संत शिरोमणि श्री नाम देव जी महाराज. And now I want to say Jai Sadgurudev to all the audience of today's session. Today we are here. Join this session of Peace Carnival. We all know about the peace. What is the meaning of that peace? Is it only outer peace or non-violence? The International Day of Peace was observed on 16 September 2022, this year, at United Nations headquarters. The program began with the traditional Peace Bell ceremony in the Peace Garden at 9 a.m. At that event, the Secretary General and President of the General Assembly rang the peace bell. And the theme of International Day of Peace 2022 is End Racism, Build Peace. Racism continues to poison institutional, social structure and everyday life in every society. It continues to be a driver of precedent inequality, and it continues to deny people their fundamental human right also. So it's our duty to end racism and build peace. We are talking about what is the peace. Peace is not only about the outer peace. When we introduce Vihangam Yoga and know about the Vihangam Yoga, then we will understand what is the meaning of peace. Vihangam Yoga tells us about our inner peace. This is the technique we learn in the Vihangam Yoga, where we learn how to maintain peace in our inner soul. It is not the subject of outer peace only. When there is no noise, then we say we are in peace. But when we develop our inner peace, and it is possible only by the blessings of Sadguru, when we develop inner peace in our soul, then we will able to hear our inner sound. Then there is no matter how much sound outside from our surrounding. So it is very important to join Vihangam Yoga, to understand Vihangam Yoga and follow all the techniques which we learn from the Vihangam Yoga. Daily practitioner which practice on daily basis can feel it. As we all know that we celebrate our Sant Shiromani Shri Naam Ji Maharaj birthday as a tree plantation, as name tree. It is also very much important to plant tree in our society to make environment clean and maintain peace in our surroundings. We have to make tree plantation as a part of our life, as we can give tree at any occasion to our near and dears. We can make theme of our party as a tree plantation at the beginning or as a cultural part of our event. It is also a part to maintain peace in the surroundings. So we can take part as a tree plantation in our life. We have to communicate with the tree also. It is the part to maintain peace in the surrounding. We will talk lot of about these all after calling our Sadguru by the medium of Swagat Gan and Mangal Gan. So let's go to the next session of the function as Swagat Gan. So I want to call Leela ji song saying Swagat Gan in the lotus feet of Sadguru Sadafal Dev Ji Maharaj.
Jai Sadgurudev. My pranam to Sant Ji Maharaj and to all. Swagat Gan. आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवर संत सुभागम आइए आध्यात्म विद्या दिव्य ज्योति सोम रस बरसाइए दोष दुर्गुण दूर करके शुद्ध अंश बनाइए भेद गम गति ज्ञान गर्ज शक्ति द्वारा हताये खोले द्वारा शब्द सागर भक्त जन अनवाये जन सदा फल विश्व शिक्षक शान आन बचाइए। जय सद्गुरुदेव। Thank you.
Jai Sadgurudev. Leela ji, many thanks to you to represent Swagat Gan in the lotus feet of Sadguru Bhagwan. Now, I want to call Dev Miller ji from USA to represent Mangal Gan, the feet of Sadgurudev Bhagwan. Come and unmute your mic to represent Mangal Gan.
Yes, Gurudev. Mangalgan. Vishwa Shanti Nama Mangala Parama Guru Kodyaye Vargadvadva Shanti Dorakara Bhava Veda Metaye Sarva Bhoma Shamasti Sata Adhyatmarajya Manaye Eshabasa Bhava Jagame Jnana Paradarashaye Samriti Sukha Shanti Dharatala Svarga Bhumi Vinaye Vishwa Shiksha Jana Sadafala Niti Savar Apanaye Vishwa Shanti Nama Mangala Padarama Guru Kodyaye. Just a Gurudev. Thank you.
Thank you, Devji. A very heartful thanks to you to represent Mangal Gan at the feet of Sadgurudev Bhagwan. As I already told, as we already discussed, that it is very much important to make our environment green, clean, to build peace in our environment. So here we have a discussion, an interaction between Professor Venkatesh Datta and Subhashi. Now, I would like to call Professor Venkatesh Datta, as we have known that Professor Venkatesh Datta has contributed to significant changes in public discourse, law, and policy of sustainable water resource management in India. His Fulbright Nehru Fellow. His research interests span environmental management with particular emphasis on water policies. Dr. Datta holds PhD from Faculty of Policy and Planning, Teri School of Advanced Studies, New Delhi, with major research focus on water resource management. He has done postdoctoral research from the School of Public Policy, University of Maryland, College Park, USA. He has about 20 years of professional experience in areas of water quality management, land use planning, and environmental impact assessment. He has presented several invite lectures at universities and institutions of repute outside India since 2005 in UK, USA, Sweden, Belgium, France, Germany, Russia, Greece, Italy, Brazil, Kuwait, Dubai, Hungary, Switzerland, Nepal, and many more. For the last 15 years, he has been actively working on water quality and ecosystem management of Gomti River. Now we have another caller, Subhashji. Subhashji currently working as an Asia Pacific Director, Life and Health in Aon Reinsurance based in Singapore for last 10 years. In past, he has worked in Reserve Bank of India, Munich Re, Presidential Kotak, and some other organization in India. Currently, he also serves as President of Aon Singapore Toastmaster Club for the fourth time. He is also an athlete as he have won medals for 100-meter international sprint, run, and long jump. Also have interest to play badminton, cricket, football. He has studied at Delhi University in Indian Statistical University Institute, Kolkata, and connected with Vihangam Yoga for 35 years since childhood. He is co-founder of Vihangam Yoga Singapore organization. I would like to call Subhashji, his exclusive refuge disciple of Vihangam Yoga, and Dr. Datta to represent a valuable interaction about environment. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stutilji. Thank you very much for welcoming us. It was an honor to be here. And I would like to bow my wholeheartedly, all intention, everything to Sant Shri Namdevji Maharaj, Charan Sarkar. And I'd like to welcome one more time Dr. Datta, Professor Datta from India, from Lucknow. Thank you very much for being on this particular platform on request. I'm sure it would be a very interesting interaction with you when we will be discussing more things about environment, about your research works, about some takeaway for all of us in such a way that we can implement those things in our day-to-day life related with the environment itself, related with the water around us, related with the greenery around us, how we can contribute to a larger extent. We'll be discussing all those things with Dr. Datta. Thank you very much once again being with us on this platform. So quickly, I think Dr. Datta, you had been just listening about yoga. We had been discussing previously also a little bit about Vihangam Yoga. I know you also have been inclined to a larger extent towards spirituality as well, and that's what it makes you connected with the nature, with the greenery, with the river as well. You have been so busy every time, all day, here and there, to connect yourself with the river, the water, as it's your prime area to do research and save a lot of things, to encourage people, to make them understand what they are missing if they are not connected with the nature. So thank you very much for your contribution towards not just at one place, but for the whole India and probably globally as well. Thank you very much for your all efforts. So quickly, I think we will be discussing on a very, very casual basis. Please feel free. I will have some quick questions with you, and please enlighten us with your own research work, your own practical experiences based on whichever way you have gained all these. So I know recently just you told me, I didn't know about that. Today is World Rivers Day. I didn't know about this. And then I researched on Google also. Then I found, yes, it has been since 2015. At 2005, I think this has been celebrated as today, 25th of September, as World Rivers Day. And you are very much engaged right now with one of the river, which is, I think, Sai River, which is in, I think, near around Rai Bareli, where lots of activities are going on already to clean it up, and lots of things you have been done also for Gomti River. the tributary for Ganges. So we'll be talking about few things on all these things. But before we start, I will have a very quick question with you, and that is, when we are discussing about peace, when we are discussing about human, when we are discussing about the surroundings around us, definitely environment plays a major role in our day-to-day life. Peace is not just about human peace. In fact, towards the end of this whole event, we will have a Shanti part also, which Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj has composed, where he has mentioned each and every single bits and pieces of this whole universe to be in the peace. It's not just about human. He has mentioned about the earth. He has mentioned about the all the Ayurvedic elements and everything he has mentioned. So just quickly to touch upon, how do you think a human and environment, say plants or rivers or whichever natural items we see around us, are playing a major role in our day-to-day life for us to be more approaching towards peace? If you can contribute few things on this line first, please.
Thank you so much. First of all, I would pay my respect to all the masters and mentors on this platform who have been guiding to all the communities around. You have asked a very pertinent question about peace and its relationship with the surroundings or the environment. You know, it is your inner well-being is a function of the outer reality. Whenever you open your eyes, you see the world around and the trees in silence, the river flowing, the birds doing their daily chores, mountains and springs. So the nature has designed a perfect harmony, a perfect balance. And we are the manifestation of that balance. Our body is in union with nature, what we call the cosmic union. There is no separation between my inner being and the outer world. You know, it is a manifestation. The outer world and the inner world, they are connected to each other. So whenever we feel that there is something which is not in order, then little bit of, you know, perturbations and disturbance, it seeps into our body, it seeps into our mind, and we are, you know, moving here and there, and our thoughts become little chaotic, we are restless. And that's why we go on a vacation. But why do we go on vacation? Because we want to enjoy nature in its pristine, in its absolute serenity. And that serenity is here and now. God has given that part of that bountiful nature everywhere. I mean, the desert is also part of the ecosystem. The vast sand mounds, the mountains, the grasslands, you know, they look like to a realized soul who is deep into the study of nature, he will see no differentiation between the hill station which is going to what is perceiving. So first of all, I would like to tell you that there's a oneness. Based upon my studies, what I felt that there's a total oneness in the cosmic components, be it mountain or the plain or the grasslands or the running stream. There is no differentiation. There is no separation. So my being is connected to your being, and the entire being is connected to well-being. So, you know, even the WHO, the World Health Organization, it defines health not merely just as the absence of disease, but the complete well-being. And that well-being, the peace plays a major role. You can be a millionaire, billionaire, you can have a very good property, a good car, and you know, you could boast of all the material success. But if you cannot take a good night's sleep, if you cannot be at peace, then everything is in vain. So it has no meaning. So peace is very central to nature. The nature is in peace. we call it Vyavastha, the entire way of things, the arrangement. Vyavastha hi Prakriti ka dharma hai. I mean, the entire discipline, what you call the way things are running, things are connected to each other. Like water is connected to land, land is connected to your crop, crop is connected to your body, and as you eat, so you become. Your thought process is guided by the food that you eat. So if you eat a lot of spicy food, if you eat a lot of oily food, your thought becomes like, shaky, and you don't feel at peace. So you have asked a very deep question on the connectedness. The peace in the world is a manifestation of your own being, your own inner being, and that inner being is a manifestation of the nature, the cosmic nature. So that is what I do in my research. We do a lot of lab work, laboratory work, traveling, but the essential reality is that the nature is the perfect laboratory. It is the grounded perspective, the grounded theory, which is coming from going into the field. You can do classroom teaching, you can give lectures, but ultimately you get knowledge and your inner satisfaction of your intellectual appetite when you go outside and explore the nature, explore the world, explore the soil, explore the tree, explore the rocks and the minerals and the flowers. They're all manifestation of the spiritual prosperity of this world, spiritual well-being. I hope I've answered your question partly.
Absolutely, absolutely, Dr. Datta. I completely second whatever you mentioned just right now. And I think that's why you have been awarded for your research works, a couple of awards which you have received on the state level as well as on national level also. I remember Rajat Ki Boonde, I think you have got a very interesting award based on all the activities what you have done. And that is not that easy job, I believe, at your end to perform. So I think when we are talking about the peace, when we are talking about the connectivity with ourselves, with the nature, why it is important for us? Because we live into the nature. Without nature, in fact, we are here on this earth, and it is the nature. It is completely connected with us, as you rightly mentioned, and everyone knows that our this whole body is made up of these pancha tattva, right? Out of these are completely linked with everything around us. So I think I would like to understand a couple of more things based on your research work, especially on the water side and the soil. I think you might have heard somewhere sometime previously about a specific name called Name Trees or Name Tree, which is an initiative by Sant Shri Naam Devji, where he had started this drive to plant the trees at everywhere, wherever it is required or wherever it is not even required. There must be plants available around us. Why? Because we have been extracting everything from this nature, but what we are giving back to it. Because one day these are natural resources. If we don't protect, if we don't learn to protect all these resources, one day we will be empty out of it. We will not have anything. And all the things which we will enjoy only in the videos where the nature is. I remember once Sansri mentioned that if the greenery would not be there, if the plants and trees would not be there, where would these birds would go? And today, when we are easily able to hear the voice of that sweet voice of cuckoo or any other nightingale or any other a bird, after a few years, if we don't protect them, don't protect the nature, we will only hear about their voice in the video and audio only. That's what we want from this nature? Definitely not. So in that respect, I know you have been doing a lot of activity for cleaning of the river, soil preservation and reservation as well, plantation as well. In that respect, I think, have you come across somewhere in India or outside India where there have been many such kind of movements going on, not just not just on the basis of a movement, but actually the intention is very pure behind this. I'm sure you understand what I mean to say here. The intention is very important. There are many activities which are going on in India or different places around the world where people are doing for name and fame sake of point of view. Professionalism is involved. In fact, people who are having factories, they are also very much involved in cleaning of the environment. But is the intention still behind this? Have you come across somewhere around the world where people actually are performing and doing things selflessly to contribute to the nature? And if yes, how exactly? And I'm sure you have done a lot of work behind this. If you can please contribute or let our audience know something about those things which they can take as an audience from this particular discussion.
Yes, thank you again. I mean, there are individuals and groups who are working selflessly, but there are again communities and societies who are working for a cause, for a event, or for some, some leader is calling, motivating them to contribute to the society, and they are doing mass plantation. Or even the government, like our government is doing, we have a special fortnight, 15 days of plantation. The massive plantation goes in this pre-rains, the when the monsoon, before monsoon comes. These are the large initiatives which are propelled by the government, interventions. But there are groups and individuals who are selflessly doing such kind of reforestation. They are trying to create a forest. I met one person, he lives in Northeast, and he started quite young, like there was a barren piece of land, and people used to call him a mad person. Every morning he used to go there and plant 10 saplings and 15 saplings without a miss, even during rains or hailstorms. And what happened? After 30 years, a patch of forest came. So nobody believed that one day this barren piece of land would become a productive forest, a forest which has all these species of, butterflies and birds and many animals. Even elephants came, and sometimes leopards and tigers also came. So he also got one award, and he came to Lucknow, my city where I'm staying, and I met him. I felt so good when I hugged him. I said, he's the real forest man of India. Somebody who has created a forest without any funding. Nobody went and asked him, okay, I give you $10, $15 to plant a tree and put a tree guard around. He went with a pure intention. And that intention was fueled by his own calling. I call it calling because for someone it is like visiting a temple or going on a spiritual tour, but for him it is like planting and creating a forest. And I see there is no difference. In fact, his job is more important than going to a temple. I tell to people that, okay, you are going to Vaishno Devi, you are going to Char Dham. Can you clean one ghat? If you clean one ghat and make it portable where people can take a dip, people can do religious rites, that is more important than going to a temple. Of course, it is important going to a temple and feeling in communion with the God, with the establishment there. But much more importance is on the creating the artifacts, the natural endowment, where the God lives, right? I mean, nature would constantly mold you into that sort of spiritual endowment, and it is nature where you have that connection. When you go back to olden days, to Vedic period, and imagine Lord Shiva like a tribal god, or Lord Krishna roaming around in Mathura in sacred groves, all plants and trees and just few signs of habitations, only rivers around and peacocks and forests. So that sort of imagination is is very necessary to create in reality. That connection is very important. When you go to Rishikesh, when you go to Badrinath, why do you have that kind of relationship? Because there's a natural endowment. The nature is in plenty. And that forestation, that plantation, that creation of an ecosystem. Ecosystem is not just the connection of the biotic world with the non-biotic, the rocks and soils, but it is also creating an atmosphere where people can feel at peace. Now, many people go and visit there, the forest that he has created. Similarly, there are groups. If you go to Chamoli, if you go to Uttarakhand, there are indigenous communities, and they protect forest like, they hug the trees. They don't allow the middleman, or what you call somebody who is cutting the trees, or even the forest department. They protest it. They say, no, they are my God. You should not cut a tree. And in reality, when you plant a tree, you create an ecosystem for the next generation, for your children. You may not be there to enjoy the fruits. You may not be there to enjoy the shade, but the birds and the butterflies and the fruits, which some secret animals who come in the night and eat, some birds who perch on the branch. You have done a wonderful job. And I have calculated the worth of a tree. It is 50 lakhs. A sapling would cost you just 50 rupees. But in its own lifetime, imagine a tree giving you free oxygen. One in Corona, everybody knew the importance of oxygen and the clean environment. But nature is not asking in return. Nature is not asking you anything in return. It's all free. And that is what we have to learn. We have to do selfless service for the community. We have to believe in giving, not merely taking from this world. We have been, largely enjoying all the resources, natural resources, water, air, polluting the air with these clothes. We are destroying the planet. With the material prosperity also comes the pollution. But you have to give it in return. And that returning is very important. Returning is returning to your own being. Where do you return? When you pay the debt, when you pay the loan, you return back to where you came from. So that sort of connection, when you plant a tree, you plant an entire ecosystem, entire cosmic ecosystem, not just the terrestrial world, but also the ethereal world, the cosmic world. The God is very happy with you. The atmospheric humidity, the moisture that you create. There is a cantonment in my city, and when I enter the cantonment in summer, there's a sudden drop of 4 degrees in just a few seconds, and that is due to trees. So when you plant trees, you also create a sort of cooling effect. You reverse the climate change phenomena. You attract clouds. There are examples where people have planted trees on a barren piece of mountain, and the rains came in Rajasthan, in Alwar. So the red heat was converted into blue heat. Desertification was avoided. So we may not know the significance of doing it, but it is very, very important. We have to teach our children. And I'm really saluting the effort. The Name Tree campaign is very, very important. We also try to create a forest in our colony, and we try to name it Smriti Ubban, a forest in the name of your forefathers, those who have passed away. Just plant a tree, put a name, and protect it for 5 or 10 years. So when you come back, you know that this tree belongs to my grandfather. And when your children would come, they would enjoy the shade. So that connection would be revived,
Absolutely. From this one, which you mentioned, that the drive in your colony about the naming the plant or tree on your forefather name. I remember in my native place, which is in Bihar, of course, we have a tree still, a people tree, which is actually named with our three generation back ancestor. It is still there, and we have been very much attached to that particular. Not just me, many people from my family, they are attached to that particular tree itself. So indeed, I think that's what one of the important drive what Sant has started with name tree, that we should have a feeling, we should have a feeling towards the nature, towards the tree, because as in his words, it's not, we are not just planting a tree, we are actually planting a life. That's what it comes for. So quickly, I think just being conscious about the time, quickly, if I request you to just let us know based on your own experience, scientifically or otherwise also, I think every individual has their own role to contribute not just to the nature, but to themselves also, because we are responsible for our own life. And since we are connected with nature, we cannot avoid it. So some people think that, oh, what can I do about nature? It's nothing in my hand. It is, everything is there. What is there? What is not? What do I do? If anything has to be done, government should do something. What do I do? But I'm sure every single individual has a specific role to the society, to this whole environment, to the whole nature. However small it could be, doesn't matter, but there is a role for every single individual. Being aware about few things not to do or to do also is a role to play on, because that's how the community develop, and that's how we can save the environment and protect themselves, which protects us thereafter. So quickly, from this would be my probably last question. If I request you to just give us some tips and tricks probably for each and every single individual to take a part at their end to contribute to the nature, be it related with plant, be it related with the trees or the river, or even saving water from the tap in our house also, or anything what you think, which probably we can take all as a takeaway from this particular discussion if possible.
Yeah, thank you again for this wonderful question. I mean, the most important thing that I tell people to be a minimalist, living in minimum. Minimalist approach is very much fundamental to the way of spiritual living also, and it is also in tune with the conscious environmental way of living. So first of all, you have to avoid shopping for some time. That is what I do. That tendency to collect, clothes and shoes and belts and so many things that that we can avoid. I have done it myself, and I'm doing it for many years, and I've become a minimalist. Today only I spotted my son wearing my pajama trouser, and I said, "Look, my son, this I was wearing almost like 20 years back, and you're using it." So this is the sort of example that I give people to recycle, reduce and reuse and refuse also, sometimes
Absolutely.
refuse, and restore if possible, repair, and also try to donate, some old books and old clothes to those needy. You may think that, the life is over and who would need it and just throw in the dustbin. No, there would be some people who would be willing to adopt or would be willing to accept. So donation and living with minimum are the things that we follow. Then avoiding all the artificial things in our food chain, the plastics and the other items that we buy from the market. So make sure that your body is in tune with the natural stuff. Your body is composed of that 5 elements, and make sure that the thing that you buy, just touch it and feel it. I do it like whenever I went to shop. So for a moment I hold it and I say, no, it's not for me, and just keep it. So you'll be surprised to know that you develop a sort of thermometer to check whether these things are conducive to my home, to my children, or to the society. So be a minimalist. That is the most important thing that I tell people. Secondly, develop a sort of mini garden, a sit spot, I say. Wherever you are, you should have a small garden where you could gaze for 10-15 minutes. That is very important to bring connection. So I have a balcony, and when I came to construct my house, the first thing that I did, I planted trees. Before I could start constructing my house, I planted many trees so that I could create a mini forest. So there is a small sort of empty area, and when I open my window or when I go to balcony, I don't see any house except those trees. Those trees are like shield to these outer, and whenever I go and gaze for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it gives me immense pleasure and satisfaction. So that sit spot is very important. Everybody should have a sit spot. It could be a place in your balcony or in your garden or on your terrace, and make it a habit to relax at least half an hour every day. And lastly, I would say that learn from a bird. Bird is very important. The lifestyle, you get up with the rising sun and go to bed with setting sun, like your lifestyle. Today what we are doing, we get up so late and we keep on watching our mobile and YouTubes and so many social media. Just switch it off. Make your life with the sun cycle. That is very important. Eat early before you go to bed. And if you could save that amount of time, if you get up early, you would feel so much time is available. Even if you get up, from like currently, maybe you may be getting up at 8 a.m., but try 7 a.m. You will say, oh my gosh, I have so much of time. And that golden period is very, very important. So early to bed, and what is
Early
that
to
phrase?
rise.
Early to rise.
Early to rise, of
So
course.
that is my last message. If you could make, and that is also holistic to the environmental way of living. Like if we tune with the daylight saving of electricity, and so much of heating that we heat and air conditioning and light that we are adding to the nature, because everything is coming from either coal or nuclear power. So if you switch off your light, your mobile, and get up with the sun and go to bed with the sun, I mean, of course you could read a little bit, but sleep early, get up early, then you'll see substantial improvement in your life and the way you look at the outer world. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Datta. I think it was an incredible discussion for me, at least. I am sure for all the people who have been listening to us. And thank you very much for your
Thank you.
contribution. I'm sure there would have been many things which probably we could have discussed, but we have to honor some time also. I'm sure in near future we will connect again to
Sure.
learn few more new things from you. And of course, as I like to remind every single person here connected, whoever is watching and listening to us, individual contribution is very, very important. Don't just think that, okay, some group will come, so government will do something, some movement will start, then I will contribute to the nature. No, please start from your side. You, as you individual, is the one who has to start the movement, because that will connect you with you as yourself. So I think nature teaches us a lot of things. It has been quoted at a lot many different places as the giver. We have to learn from them what we can contribute to the nature itself. And in fact, we have to contribute to the nature so that we can get help from it. It's not that, it's a very interesting fact that we are doing it. In fact, it's a not say dual, but paradoxical sentence that we are contributing, but ultimately we will get help by that. So it's a reverse process in a way. So it's every single individual's responsibility to contribute wherever in surrounding or at a bigger place. We have so many different examples. Thank you very much, Dr. Datta, being with
Thank
us.
you.
And
Thank
I'm
you so
sure
much.
all of us will be getting connected with you very soon near the future. Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you. Thank
Back
you.
to you, Stuti. I think Stuti's audio is still getting connected. No problem. So I think with this discussion, I'm sure most of us would have learned many things with the discussion with Professor Datta. Just to quickly give a quick thing, Professor Datta and I had been studied together in University of Delhi when we were young, of course, and we have spent some time together in the hostel also. We have done a lot of interesting things when we were studying, and Dr. Datta was, I mean, still he does. He writes poems also. He's very much connected with music also, and he is a spiritual person as well. I'm sure during the due courses we would have more opportunity to interact with him, or probably few more interesting people down the line. Thank you. I think Stuti, are you back?
Very much thankful.
I think still there is some issue at Stutiji's end. So on the basis of just honoring the time, I think as next in our program, probably we have to run a quick video, if I remember it correctly. Can we please run it right now? Time, I think as next in our program, probably we have to run a quick video, if I remember it correctly. Can we please run it right now?
We are not only giving life to a plant, but we are giving life to ourselves. So let's plant more and more trees and make them more greener and healthier. We put some
time, I think
we are not planting a tree, we are planting a life. They fulfill our emotions.
Video, if I remember it correctly.
So we have to be connected with them by coming closer. They are an integral part of our life. This is Dilip from Oman.
Hey all my beautiful people, let's make a difference in this beautiful world of ours and plant a tree today. Come, let's do it. We can do it.
I
We
think
work together.
We are not planting a tree, we are planting a life. They fulfill our emotions.
Video, if I remember it correctly.
We have to be connected with them by coming closer. They are an integral part of our life. This is Dilip from Oman.
Hey all my beautiful people, let's make a difference in this beautiful world of ours and plant a tree.
I am Rakesh from Dubai. I love tree.
By planting a tree, we are not only giving life to a plant, greener and healthier. Me, Kusum from Dubai.
We are not planting a tree, we are planting a life. They too feel our emotions. So we have to be connected with them by coming closer. They are an integral part of our life. This is Dilip from Oman.
Hey all my beautiful people, let's make a difference in this beautiful world of ours and plant a tree today. Come, let's do it. We can do it if we work together. Thank you.
Trees are life. Please protect them.
I'm Vihangam from Sant, This is my PG garden. Plants are my life.
I'm from Sarja, UAE. Trees is our life. We cannot even imagine anything in our life without trees. It gives us everything. Thank you.
Plants give me positive vibes and positive energy. They are the essence of life.
Plants provide us with a healthier and cleaner life. So let's all plant more and more trees.
The only peace we can attain in our life is by planting more and more trees.
I like trees because they provide shelter and protect me from that thing in the sky. Also, I like spruce, redwood and dark oak trees.
I love the trees and plants, exploring them, the growth, blooming the new flower every season. They make people happy, and so are they make good homes for many animals.
प्लांट हमारे मनुष्य जीवन के लिए काफी लाभदायक है। अगर प्लांट को एक बच्चे की तरह पालन पोषण करें तो आने वाले समय में हम ये कह सकते हैं कि ये प्रकृति के लिए बहुत ही लाभदायक है।
I like trees because they give shade and homes for creatures. That's why I like trees. And my 7th birthday theme was forests, and there was trees on the cupcakes.
A little lovely home plant. Are you not? Yes, you are such a good home plant. I love you.
My mom planted all of these plants, and the best one is the tulsi plant because it helps with lots of things. Just one thing is for medicine. These days, weather changes and most kids get sick often. So this tulsi helps my mom make medicine to cure our sickness. Thank you.
In my childhood, when my parents told me to water the plants, in the beginning, when I started watering the plant, I started making a connection with the plants. And slowly, I started spending a lot of time with the plants. The breeze that I used to experience during the summertime while sitting next to the plant, you cannot compare that with the AC, fan or cooler these days. I really love the plants.
I love waking up to so much greenery around me. It instills in me a sense of freshness each morning. What are we without trees? Trees are the basic source of survival. They give us oxygen. I love being in the lap of nature.
We need trees, we love trees, we protect our trees.
We are so grateful to have trees in our life. They play a very important role in our lives, as it gives us shade, it gives us a lovely breeze on summer's day, and some of it gives us beautiful flowers, beautiful fruits for our enjoyment. And also it gives us oxygen, which is most important for us to breathe. Thank you, tree. Thank you, tree.
Wow, what a beautiful tree we have. We are really thankful to the Lord to give us such a beautiful garden.
My attachment to trees is clearly the most simplest of answers. The symbiotic relationship, where they give us what we need to survive and we give them in return what they need to survive. And also, when you live in an urban area, they tend to deafen the sound of the world around you, which is definitely helpful. Thank you.
We support Name Tree. 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 We support Name Tree.
Koti Koti Dhanyavad, and my humble salutation to each one of you at Name Tree. Thank you so much. What we have received has been just overwhelming. It indeed is a need of the hour to wake up, to wake up, to wake up to this reality that we need change. And change comes from each one of us actions. And I'm really, really proud of each one of you out there taking initiative, turning the entire mission into a movement. It fills my heart with pride to see your action turning into this level of movement. Thank you so much. My humble salutation to each one of you at Name Tree. Dhanyavad, koti koti pranam sabko.
Thank you, organization team, to show this such a beautiful video to all of us. And I'm heartiest sorry to all of you for the technical problem. As we already heard the interaction between Mr. Datta and Subhashji, and we learned many more things, that we should keep clean our environment. It is very much beneficial for all of us and for our coming generation also. Now we are going. I like to call one more I want to like to invite Miss Maria. She is a writer and culture promoter who was born in Mexico City in 2nd August 1976. She studies BA in communication from University of Mexico and PhD in a relational education. During her time at university, she was the founder and coordinator of the publishing project Pedia, a magazine that she directed from 1995 to 1999. She has had outstanding participation in university cultural forum and has collaborated as an anchor for the XEQK, the Citizen Radio in the Broadcast School for Parents, and in the word of Pedro Ferez, of providing culture and scientific news. She coordinated and published the blog Desperately Seeking God, Are You Afraid to Think? And Temporary Biography. She has received several honorable mentions in short stories and poetry's contents at the University of Mexico. In 2000, she published her book, Natural Silence, a compilation of poetry that is currently in the collection of library in Chel and the Teresa Press Library in the Santa Rosa, Argentina. In 2012, part of her poetic work was published in the Belgium online magazine Art Today, where she was mentioned as one of the new voices of poetry in Mexico. She worked as collaborator of the Writers Museum and worker of the Nelson Mandela Culture Space. I would like to call Miss Maria. Please unmute your mic.
Namaste. Good evening, everybody. Here's Maria.
Jai Sadgurudev.
Excuse me?
Jai Sadgurudev.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, let me start. First of all, thank you very much for the invitation, all of you. I'm very proud to represent Mexico in this very important situation. At the moment, well, I need to wish with you, help me closing your eyes and trying to imagine the next. Why we are connected to the liberty, to the peace. We are such as the trees. If you notice, we are like the trees. Why? Because we have the very beginning, that is the spring. We are blooming anytime. If you can see, you can bloom anytime. Then it comes the summer, we get a little teenager, we can be like a teenager. And then we are an adult, and it is the autumn, just like me. I'm in the autumn of my age. And then the winter, when we get very, very older, when it seems to be the end, it is the new beginning. That is why we like the trees, right? Well, and what's about the liberty? What's about that? Well, the liberty is very important, and most of all, the peace. Just imagine what happens if you cannot do that, if you don't do the correct thing, if you do something that you feel it is bad for your values. You cannot rest, right? You don't have inside of you the peace. And what happens next? If you don't have the peace, none of the brotherhood that are near to you neither have peace. And the world is in that pain. Why? Because we don't find within us our own peace. What happened? We are, as you know, I don't know if you already have read, we are 5 kinds of apes. Okay, we are with the bonobos, the chimps, the gorillas, and the orangutans. We are one of the five kind of apes. What happened? We are like a bonobo that is very peaceful, that wants to make love instead of make war. Or we are like the chimp that all the time is making war instead of making love. I invite you to consider what we can do to be peaceful inside us. The peace is only here. If we are peaceful right here, we can be peaceful outside. Well, as I told you, I have read a long time ago, maybe you know this, I'm a little old. I read about 2 philosophers. One said that the human being, it is a bad kind of animal, that is cruel. I don't guess that he's right. Why? His name was Mr. Nietzsche. I don't know if you know him. It is it's a guy that is very popular in nowadays. Okay. By the other hand, it is the other person that said, "Oh, the human being is a very peaceful, very kind animal." So really, but do you consider he is right? His name, the person who said this, was Mr. Rousseau. Well, I'm sure that the peace, it is not something outside us. It needs to be inside us. Here in Mexico, we have a little problems with that, without peace. We are not in war with any other country. We are in war within the in all Mexico. Why? Because we fight any time with all the things we have. We have fighting against our neighbor, against our boss, about whatever you wish. And for me, it is very grateful to find a foundation just as yours. That it is all is about love, all is about peace. I'm grateful to be part of you. Thank you very much for joining me. I invite you to consider one more time, what's the liberty for you? What's the peace for you? If you can rest today at night when you are very tired, believe me, you will appreciate a lot what is peace. But if you are doing something very, very, very nasty or very, very, very bad, I'm sure you will not find peace. And what happens if we don't find peace? The world will not find it. And for this moment, we need peace. We need to be that seed that will grow up and bloom to our children, to bloom to our parents, to bloom to each other that is around us. Thank you very much for the invitation. And please believe me, I'm proud to be with you. Namaste.
Thank you very much, Ms. Maria. It was a pleasure to hear to you, and thank you very much for your contribution towards the whole society. And I'm sure you will be encouraging many more others to continue the journey along with you, so that you along with you, the whole society, the whole world, the whole place around you also can be served in a much more better way and efficient way. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you, sir.
So from here onward, we will be having a very divine presence by Sant Shri Naam Dev Ji Maharaj. We would probably be connecting with him very soon. But before that, I was just thinking to quickly give a little bit of update about few more things related with name tree and some other things also. I'm sure those who are aware, the drive started by Sant Shri Ji with the name of Name Tree is an incredible journey for many of us, and I'm sure it will connect with many people. I have seen some people who have been redundant. I'm using this word redundant in connection with the nature itself. Now the awareness has started. Definitely many people are now more aware about plantation, tree plantation, sapling, small trees or small plants wherever they can, wherever possible it could be. I remember, so since my professional background is from insurance side, I was just discussing today with someone that in insurance, usually people don't buy policy on their own unless and until they realize the presence of that kind of risk in their life. But usually insurance is being sold. But once people become more aware about it, they understand what exactly is the importance of it, they automatically go and do things around them, whichever way it can be possible. During this pandemic time, definitely many people have realized the importance of insurance in their life. I'm sure, I'm just trying to correlate here things. People like us or many other people, we don't really try to give our attention, our focus towards the nature, towards the trees, towards the river around us, towards other lakes and many more things, which probably these have passed through our eyes every day, many a times. They're contributing to a larger extent in our day-to-day life, but we have never given attention to them. Soon, I'm sure, soon, howsoever small right now name tree is, soon it is going to create so much of aware to people, not just in India, but globally, that people will realize really what they have missed in the past life. During this name tree season, in the whole September time, there has been a lot of plantation of the trees have been done, quite a lot. And I think this has started somewhere in early of September and still continues. What Shri has messaged to all of us that such kind of things should not be done just for 1 day or 2 day or 3 day or 1 week or 1 month. It should be 365-day activity. Or in the leap year, 360 days, 366-day activity. Not a single day should be missed out. Somewhere, something must have been done, we must have been doing under the name of name tree. And that is very easy for all of us also. In any one of our daily or day-to-day basis, a special occasion, either we have or our family member have, maybe it's a birthday, or it can be other, say, marriage anniversary or some other special occasion is there. We can simply connect ourselves, those plants and trees, which really can contribute to a larger extent. And it's not just about contribution. Please don't think that you are doing something for the nature. It's not like that. Nature can find its own way. And if required, it can take a disastrous form also. We are very tiny in front of these natures, complete activity. We are not going to help anyway, anything for the nature. Nature has its own way. Ultimately, what we are doing or what we would be doing, it's for us. Actually, it is for us. So please get aware and try to contribute for your own life, for your current life, for your family life, for your next generation. Because if we would not do, the next generation will not have that much time. It's us who have to make them realize by our activity. Don't just push things that, okay, fine, kids will do. Okay, my kid will do this, my kid will do that. What about you? You as yourself. We individuals, all individuals are responsible to contribute to our own life and contribute to the nature itself. And then only the peace, the harmony will come among each and every entity of this whole world, not just between the or among the people itself. Every surrounding around us, be it nature, be it other animals, birds, or whichever we are connected with, we must put our effort to refine them so that we can get help along with all of them. So we just this quick note. Now we are fortunate enough to have Shri with us right now on this platform. We are blessed, and we will be blessed with his divine words. Very soon we are going to hear, we are going to listen to him, we are going to get blessed by his words. Just quickly, I'd like to narrate few things from what Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj has mentioned in Swarved as one of the couplet. Sant na hote jagat mein ko janat bhagwan, Keet swan sambitata jivan manuj mahan. So the life of a saint is very different. As we just heard from our interaction with Dr. Datta, he said that we have to go in a way to release things from us. We are in a process of accumulating things in our day-to-day basis. We have to release things. We have to go in a very different kind of life, and saints are the real example for that. I had been fortunate enough to spend some time with Shri personally also, and I have seen on a very quick basis how he lives his life. And although people may think when you see him, the aura is very different. You'll not find that aura all the time here and there. It's a very specific thing. And right now, you all are going to be connected with him. Quickly, just for the sake of, although I know I have given a lot many time introduction to Sant Shri Namdev Ji Maharaj, he doesn't like all the time to give much more detail about him, but just for the sake of all the viewers, all the participants right now, I'll quickly give quick introduction about Shri. Just on a very quick basis, please pardon me, Shri, if there is any mistake in that. So Sant Shri Namdev Ji Maharaj is a leading saint. I think those who have been connected with him, they very well know about this. Sant Shri is the president of international wing of Vihangam Yoga, and he very easily transformed the perspective with his mystic insight. As a humanitarian and trustee of Chief United Nations Projects and coordinator for Sadhguru Sadafal Dev Vihangam Yoga Sansthan, Sant Shri Namdev Ji Maharaj is a true visionary and ambassador of global change and transformation, which we can very easily see from lots of day-to-day activity which we have been coming across through his different types of drives. Sant Shri is a social entrepreneur who illuminates the statement, be the change you seek in the world. I repeat, be the change you seek in the world, which means if you want any change in the world, first that you have to implement on yourself. That's what we had been discussing also, that if you want the change in the environment, if you want something to let things happen on our own basis, first we have to take a step from our side. Sant Shri is leading Sadhguru Sadafal Dev Vihangam Yoga Sansthan on the international wing side, which is a non-profit organization with many more activities and initiatives which has been taken by Sant Shri. Under his global vision, Vihangam Yoga Sansthan collaborates with esteemed United Nations bodies also, like United Nations Habitat, United Nations ECOSOC also, for the betterment of the whole society, not just for one place, but the whole globe as a whole. With a firm belief in the mission of global peace and harmony, Sant Shri's dynamic approach to addressing the current social issues and displaying a unique mix of innovative thinking and holistic outlook is very, very important from his side. We all will get this example very soon once we will hear Sant Shri's words in a very few moments. Sant Shri founded Sukrit Group, which provides a wide range of services aligned to ancient Indian traditions. If I have to name some of these are Sukrit Ayurveda, Sukrit Wellness Tour, and Sukrit Health also, where health and wellness centers have been uniquely designed in connection with the nature itself in the natural location, offering a range of traditional Ayurvedic treatments. Sant is also chief and editor of Vihangam Light magazine, an English magazine which gives a lot more holistic wellness approach for every single individual. He has conducted several wellness workshops across the globe and launched numerous forums for holistic living. His in-depth insight of his spirituality and society has mesmerized intellectuals and inspired them to adopt the most ancient technique of Vedic era. A very interesting aspect is Shri is chairman of Sadafal Education also, and his vision is to support the needy by equipping them with skills and knowledge of their success in lives. Name Tree, as we all have heard, Shri is the founder of that particular movement, that drive, which is going to benefit a lot many people, not just people, but the plants, trees, and animals and birds also. Shri is a regular practitioner of Vihangam Yoga and has gained profound knowledge of human mind and beyond in his meditative state of Vihangam Yoga. His solutions to the everyday life situations are very practical and outstandingly simple. That's how Shri connects with each and every single individual wherever that person is. I'm fortunate enough to invite Shri on this particular platform to bless all of us with his divine words. Charan Spasaka.
Adodamagne amritam yuge yuge abhyavaham yadire payumedyam devasasya maradasasya Jagribham vibham vishwabadam manasa nishedhire bandhavahama paramaguru jinayah jnana prasar Devasatapala Adime Jinaya Shabdachar Nijayanubhava Varadana Karo Tyagyan Prabhu Soy Tera hai तुझ में रहे कर दसमर प्राण सोय परमेश्वर जीव साथ हैं अमित काल गय जीव त्रिताप छूटा नहीं बिन सद्गुरु Surdev Bhagwan ki jai. My pranam and charan sparsh to all of you there. Name Tree mission is certainly turning into a moment. It is such a delight to witness a massive change what we started as a very humble beginning about 8 years ago. Before anyone, the most prevalent one that we hear about today, way before anyone and everyone, the name tree concept was sown, and it was led forth by few of us to create not just an awareness, but also exhort people to come forward towards making significant change in order to ensure our existence on this planet. As it has always been said, and I won't mind repeating it again, that this nature, as it is, if it is left to its own devices, will take care of itself in the most pristine form. We human beings do not have to do anything at all whatsoever. So what we are talking about here is the biodiversity conservation. And this biodiversity conservation cannot be the responsibility of a person, just a person, just the government, because government is led by the person, the set of people. If you look at the ecology today, how the extreme of consumerism has reached its pinnacle. There is a plethora of product which is almost superfluous. It's not necessary, not needed, even though the products are being bombarded in the marketplace. You name it. And with the help of technology today, what we see is sea of products which almost are creating a buzz towards creating more of a marketplace, hence going forward creating more of employment, then creating more of situations where the nature is to be put at stake. Anything that you see around you, can you think of anything that surrounds you right now where you are seated has dropped down from the sky? Can you name one? Can you name just any one of the object that you can see around you? Can you? So whatever you happen to enjoy in your life, whatever you are able to consume in your life, in any form, is because something has been extracted. And from where it has been extracted? From the earth. There is no any other planet than the planet that we live in. This is what we must realize. There is no planet B. We humans have been discovering different planets to make this dream of having a habitation into reality, but it is very far off. And the reason is it would never be into reality because of the ecosystem. Just because having some element of water cannot be ensured for the human habitation. That could not only be the reason for human habitation. The reason why it is being said to you right now here is that we cannot survive without the other species, my dear friends. We humans cannot exist on this planet without these species, other species around the system. Do you think this system can sustain itself, being the human at the helm of the affair? Absolutely not. It is not possible by any stretch of the imagination to think of our existence without the animal kingdom, without the animal world, without the flora and fauna. Ecology means everything. The biodiversity means everything. It's not the tree, but what about the cat and dogs and our animal world? If their life is at stake, yours and ours and everyone's life will be very soon. So having this concept and having this dream and trying to turn into reality, landing on different planet altogether will be futile, absolutely futile, if the cohabitants of other species are not found out. If the habitation of other species could be found out, could be actualized, then we human beings can also live there. Yes, 100%. You think that you are all here by yourself? Not really. They're also exhausting their karma like you and me are. We have got this human birth, human body, so that we could do something good or undo what was done in the past. Now we may not be aware. Or to do something much more significant for the future generation to take precedent from, to take the lesson from us. Our people who are there, come into the system, become part of the system, they are also equally significant, of course. The moment you stop, suppose that one day you woke up and you found out the sparrows are vanished. Do you think you'll be alive? No. There is a balance, and this balance goes beyond the very perception of the human mind. It cannot be captured by the human mind. Unless you become so subtle enough to get aligned with the higher consciousness from where everything emanates from. If you dissolve yourself into everything around you, that's when the Atmabodha happens. That's when the enlightenment occurs. But that's a different thing. That's a higher state of consciousness. Or I would say rather that you become one with all there is, and all there is becomes one with you. That's a very higher state of being. But once you reach there, you know that everything, even an ant that is crawling on the floor, has consciousness into it. You cannot survive without her existence either. We are not alone. That's the only reason, my dear friends. Why do we always find that, happen to come across that all the sages have gone to jungles? Why? Why Buddha got enlightenment in the jungle, went to the jungle, he just went to the exile. Can you imagine even the one whom we worship today, day in, day out? Do you think, I want to ask all of you today, if I could, with your permission, What about the whole fiasco that was created by Ma Kaikei before the king Ram, the putative king was asked to leave the kingdom and go to exile. It doesn't matter what she did, but what happened there? Our kingdom was taken away, snatched away, right before everyone. And he went into an exile. He was compelled to lead a life of ascetic. But do you think if the King Ram, the Raja Ram, had not been to the exile in the jungles, would he have become the Lord Ram that we worship today? What happened in those 14 years is a mystery. No one knows what happens in those 14 years. But I can tell you, it was all so divinely guided. It was all that divine orientation or orchestration. And he was just led to the jungles. He would not have become the Lord Ram if he had not traversed through the forest and had not become so subtle to speak to a tree. He communicated with everything. Even Lakshman was elongated to a higher level of consciousness because he also accompanied him just because of that only. Nothing much. And Sita too. Ma Sita too. So he would have been just a king, a Raja, an emperor. That's it. So nature has its own way of telling you something. It is the need of the hour that we all wake up to this reality where we know that our existence on this planet is possible only with the cohabitation of all other species. Absolutely. Without which this human body cannot survive, doesn't have any ground to sustain itself. And this is what happens when Sadgurudev Bhagwan, Sadguru Siddhafaldev Ji Maharaj, we always hear when we start puja, so we always hear that. And after in the recitation of many verses of Surved, and before that we always recite, He Dayame Bhakta Vassal, Bhakta Nije Avalokye. And the very last one, it says that, Sadgurudev Bhagwan says that, hello. Yeah. Sadgurudev Bhagwan, he himself went to 17 years of long meditation. And he was totally into the deep state of samadhi. I remember a few stories which Pratham Parampara Sadguru would narrate in his lifetime. that, in fact, it happened to him too. Can you imagine this level of sadhana? Sadguru Dev Bhagwan would go into the exile in a barren, in the field, and he would just sit there in meditation. And the snakes will just come around him and would not touch him. And this has happened many a times. Even in my lifetime too, as a child, I have seen snakes at the Vritikut ashram. I have seen a number of times. So this place was totally, there were snakes all over the place where the Vritikut ashram is today. At the time, there used to be only snakes all around. And that too is a very dangerous one. Just one bite and that's all. That's it. And everything would come around. The snakes would not harm him, would never harm him. Even at 2 o'clock at night, he would after having been into deep meditation, he would go out of this cave and go just, meander through the paths. And he would come across many snakes, and nothing will happen to him, because it was totally alienated from the rest of the village, because he was so recluse, and people in the village decided him to give him a place. So he stayed there and he started meditation. He started meditating, and he was all by himself, just 2 people, 2 sevaks, and someone would come in the daytime. 1 person would come. Only 3 people. That's it. And he would have no problem with anything. Now, maybe a lizard bit on the wall, crawling here and there, freaks us out. We are so frightened by the sight of a lizard just crawling on the wall. So you see this level of consciousness. Sadhguru Dev Bhagwan went to that higher stage. That was his level of meditation. And he was there, accentuated, ingrained, established into that zone of higher order for so many years, so many long years. And then he was there only. From there he would operate. And then he said, Falafula sajita baga upavan. Sabakala se pokhi. Can you imagine? In that stage, he would say, Falafula sajita baga upavan. It means this dharatal, this universe. He daya mein bhakta vasal, bhakta nij avalokiye. I mean, from that avalokan, from that higher level of observation, he could observe that without the flora and fauna, this universe cannot exist. So it is of higher order. So we are not doing anything special, not at all. In fact, if I could ask you that if you really want to raise your vibration, or if you want to really kind of scale up your attentiveness, become more intuitive, if I could tell you, be with the nature. That's the best thing. Walk barefoot for 45 minutes every day on a soil. Just see, it's going to heal you. It's going to teach you so many things. You don't need God. God is everywhere. I mean, everything is God. So, I mean, I have healed myself physically, emotionally, just by walking barefoot. Personal experience. It's so amazing. It opens up many dimensions within this, because there are so many dimensions within this whole mechanism right here available to us at all times. So we can just transmute everything. Everything can have a different narrative. Everything can be just transmuted and transmitted the way we would like to, no matter what is happening outside. And with the help of ecology, it is so much convenient. So much convenient. Pratham Parampara Sadhguru Dev Bhagwan, he used to say to his disciples, and that's what I've heard, that if you are like really agitated, emotionally disturbed, find yourself totally disconcerting in the environment that you live in because of the family or people around you, Just go somewhere close to a tree, see this greenery for about some time, for about 10 to 15 minutes, you will calm down. That's the power. And look at what happened in Corona. I don't have to tell you. People in their big cars. I was in the first phase of Corona. I was at the ashram. It was so divinely designed for me to be there. I was so privileged, and I just walked around the area. It healed me so much. It transformed me as a human being. If I could ever be interviewed by some celebrity, if I could become evergreen, I'm sitting right in front of you right now. I say, what your success? I mean, how would you like to attribute your success? I say, I would like to attribute my success to Sunshikar Ashram. So I mean to say, if I ever kind of did something great in my life to be good enough to be interviewed by someone, if someone asks me, maybe I will say that. I think I will 100% say that, because I was there for 2.5 months and I was there with nothing but the nature. And I was like divinely guided to postpone my day of visit and go after 2 days. I don't know why I did that. I have no idea. It was crazy, because I was scheduled to go on a specific day, but I said, no, I'm not going. I'm just going after 2 days. So I postponed it. In fact, there were a couple of people around me. And then after that, and then the lockdown was announced by the Prime Minister Modi, and it kept extending. It kept extending after a week and week. So I was there for more than 2.5 months, and really changed my life. Just because of one thing. Of course, the atom of Sunshikar Ashram is imbued with that spiritual consciousness. Absolutely. And just be there, not doing much, just be there, touching the ground and my forehead to the ground there, and just walking there barefoot just changed so much about me. It was so alive. Even each particle, even the rocks and pebbles, whatever you say, it was all the pebbles even were able to communicate something. Maybe I needed to become more subtle with my energies in order to understand the message they were trying to put across to me. But even though I could have some subtle change in me, and every day there was some change. So what I mean to say is, it is very important to understand how nature could actually transform your life. I was so blessed that I was there, because if I had been somewhere else, maybe I would have got into some mental trauma or something like that. So Swamiji put me in that place. Sadhguru Bhagwan put me in that place. I'm so grateful to the Master, Present Master, and Sadhguru Bhagwan to having decided me to be there at that point in time. But in second phase of Corona, I was in Delhi, and I remember the time I would go out, though I was exposed to the virus, but I never contracted it myself. But I saw that so many rich people with wealth, a lot of wealth, could not buy even a breath. Now, can you imagine the amount of breath that you are inhaling just to be alive has come from a tree, how valuable your life is. They were ready to give away any amount of money to buy a breath. What about a tree? They cannot buy. You cannot buy even a second of life. And people died with the gas, with the oxygen cylinder in their car, in their Mercedes, in their big cars in Delhi. I'm telling you. There was some news, and we kept hearing about one news after the other. People died in their swanky cars. They could not buy life. Little they realize that they wish they had planted more trees. Maybe Inhalation is much more important. Exhalation is also important, as important as making money. But inhalation with consciousness, with attentiveness, with everything right in order is important, not just breathing, of course. So what is important here is to understand that all of us are here. This is not any kind of celebration, but I think we need to plant about, let's say, 3 crores of trees. Let's say that. In India, it's very important. India, it is the need of the hour. And I'm very happy after Corona, because I think Corona has done some good, of course, because it used to be so polluted. And in the cities like Delhi and Mumbai, where people lost lives, people know that how, because, you know, in each household, there is a death, right, due to Corona. So people are aware that life is not about all those things that used to matter in the past prior to Corona. Now priorities have changed dramatically in those cities. So it's great. People are at least aware they should not do something as drastic as just going on shopping spree, buying things unnecessarily. So my advice to all of you would be, you know, I was in Shri ashram. I just went with 2 and 3 clothes, and I was there for 2.5 months. I mean, it's not about me, but what I'm saying is that all the things that we have today is almost superfluous in nature. It's not needed, actually. So if you look at, if you really want to organize your life, make your life much more fruitful, more productive than what it has been, the only way you can do is just to declutter this space. That's very important. And when you see the mind-boggling consumerism, which has totally caught on like a wildfire in a jungle because of the technological advancement, we should rather promote only those products which are eco-friendly, and we also need to consume things which are good for our human body. So it comes into all, it comes into the package. It has to be in a sequence, and everything has to come in sync or with the same facts. So with these words, I would just say that name tree movement, and I'm very, very happy that all of us today are geared up to make this planet a better place to live. So always remember one thing: we should always leave this place much better than what we received. If we just ensure this, or even just the way it was, now just the way it is, even we ensure that, if we cannot do anything better, please do not become part of the problem. If we cannot become part of solution, so it's absolutely okay. There's no problem. But one thing is for sure, that all of us, if we want to have a harmony in the family, into the world, it's very important to keep everything in balance. That's the only way we can ensure the life worth being a human. So if there is any question out there, if you like to ask me any question specific, please do come forward and ask. With these words, my gratitude to Chetan Srivastavaji, who called me up and really organized this one, and Shri Subhaji from Singapore, who has always been a light to me, a guide to me, a mentor to me. Thank you very much. And all of you there, if there is anything I could be of any help to you, please do reach out, and I will be delighted to help. Dhanyabad. Surdev Bhagwan ki jai.
Thank you very much. Sorry. My end. Thank you very much, Shri, for enlightening us. If just one quick question personally I have when I was listening to you towards the end side, when you were mentioning about the incidents of COVID and all those things which were happening around the world, and especially you mentioned about New Delhi, some of the incidences also. I think my inquisitiveness is, although probably I have a little bit of answer, but I'm just curious to hear more words from you. That people are realizing definitely that it's not everything is about taking in. There are many more things which we have to give out also. Be it related with either the nature or even in society or in the family or anywhere. What happens is people just remember all these things for 1 day, 2 day, 5 day, 10 days, and thereafter they forget everything. They are very much involved and engrossed in their previous day-to-day life. And what probably they would have taken on oath also, or probably become too much determined to do something specific, but they forget it. What they have thought about do few things. Why it happens this way? If people have decided something to do, something good or whatever, whichever way they want to do, but after a few things, especially when the difficult time comes, they choose things in a very different way, and they become kind of selfish, I think. Is it a very normal thing for a human every time, everywhere, or there is something which can be done with respect to this, that the commitment should be fulfilled? What a person should do to remain firm on the commitment at time when he or she has started at one particular time. If you can please guide us on this one, related with, be it with nature, taking care of the nature, or taking care of ourselves, or spirituality, or society, or family, or anything. I think it applies everywhere. If you can please enlighten us on that side.
We cannot carry out all the responsibilities. It's not possible to carry out so many things simultaneously. But what is important here is to understand that if there's anything that you would like to achieve, and there is a procrastination, or there is a sense of lethargy because we're not geared up towards it, is because of the mental state. There is something called being and doing. A lot of people are stuck in doing. Doing is much more important than being. And if there is a friction between what you would like to achieve in your life and the person who you are, if there is a huge gap between the person who you are and what you'd like to have, if there is a huge gap, then the chances are, because this is mainly about the materialistic thing in life, not about planting a tree, because that may not be very exciting to so many people, but mainly about those who want to achieve. If you look at closely, Subhashji, these people are not process-oriented. These are the lotus eaters. They are obsessed with the result, the end result. And that take them to their fantasies. Oh, if I became an IS officer, I would be like that. I would be like that. And I will do this, I'll do that. Right. They are not very comfortable with being what they would like to become. I'll repeat myself. They are not comfortable. They're not comfortable here. Not comfortable. Here, not comfortable. There is a gap, huge gap, between the mental state and what they are trying to become. So what happens if you are like that? Then if you are oriented like that, then the end result will kind of take all your attention, and that will kind of transport you into the land of fantasies. You will daydream, and you won't be doing what you shall be doing. So mostly people are distracted because of you see the social media today, because there is a distraction available, and there is serotonin level of change, and because we want to be, people want to feel good at all times. The availability of having food is there. They eat food. 60%, I won't say 60%, 35 to 40% of the food that we eat is not required. So if they could just change one thing, I will just give you a practical thing, because there's no point trying to philosophize it, trying to kind of make it more confounding. I will just let you know the very simple aspect here. And that is to cut off the pattern. And they can have this 5 seconds thing, 2 to 5 seconds. So if I'm not feeling good right now, let's say, Subhashji, and there is some cookies out there. Now I should not reach out to cookies. Now I would say, what is connection between cookies and what I want in my life? There is a huge connection between those two, absolutely. So that chocolate or cookie will actually is there to stimulate some cells in your body. Neurons will send some messages and make you feel good. Okay, you want to feel good? Keep feeling good. Keep feeling good. Keep being stuck at the land of fantasies. Nothing will change right in here. So just cutting the conditioned pattern will help. That's it. If they could ensure this part, and this is not easy, absolutely not easy at all. No, absolutely not. A lot could change. But yeah, it will need consciousness. It will need attentiveness. It will need awareness level. Oh, no, I shouldn't be doing that. Now I'm being dragged to, I don't want to eat cookie because I don't need it. No, I don't need it. I don't need to eat butter and the chocolate. No, I don't need it. It's not required, but eating out of compulsion because there is something going into your mind. And people do so many things. People go out, go shopping. People watch videos, YouTube. People do so many other things because they want to avoid doing what they must be doing. And it happens to all of us. No, I'm not saying that I am like that. No, I'm not. In fact, I also engage myself into all these, but at least the awareness is there. No, time is stopped. So you got to stop. So I can tell you 2 seconds and 5 seconds are mantra for people. And if they could do so, that would be great. And if they feel really vulnerable, they can start writing Gayatri mantra Om Bhurvubhuva Swaha with their hands, with their as they write, it must sync with the words being uttered. I repeat myself, as they write, the words being uttered must sync with it. Om, so they must write about 21 times a day. It's not easy to do so, but you can do that. So that will help your mind to get engaged there, and it will create the chemical kind of thing, which is very, very positive for your mind. And that will keep all the distraction away, especially the food habit. So it's all about look at the habits of the people. That's it. That will reveal everything to you. You don't have to ask this question, to be honest with you. You just look at the people habits and patterns. Everything is sorted out. If you know this part, the patterns, the behavior pattern, which has been conditioned, changed into dispositions of so many things, if that is kind of revealed, everything will be sorted out. Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Shri. I got the complete answer on this. I remember, in fact, when I used to do recitation of Swarved couplets, and at that time point, the trick which you mentioned, I exactly use the same thing, that what I'm writing and what I'm saying and what probably coming in the mind, all these three should synchronize together, then it gives complete focus to that point, what I'm doing at that time point. Thank you very much, Shri. I just quickly invite any other person who may have any question or want to ask something to Shri. Please quickly unmute yourself if possible. Or anything, if you have any comment or anything on YouTube, those who are watching us, quickly you can have that question. Okay, it seems there is not. I think it was a very wonderful time, Shri, with you. Thank you very much for your time again. And it was a divine moment for all of us. I'm sure most of us have learned a lot of new things with your words. And I'm sure it will enlighten not just today's life, but future, few more days, months, and years as well. Thank you very much for your divine presence, Shri. Thank you very much.
Please plant as many trees as possible on all occasions. It is not just a one-day affair, as you rightly said. It is not connected with anyone. It is connected with humanity. And we all shall encourage people to come forward and encourage conservation of biodiversity. Vasudev Bhagwan ki jai. Thank you. And pranam.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and now from here, we move forward towards the end, towards the closer. I'm sure each one of us must have heard each and every single word from Shri. I'm sure these recordings will be available also, so that it can remind us every time to hear these words, to remind us not just at one time, but multiple times, to take an action, as Shri mentioned, as a doer. This is very, very important for our day-to-day life, not just on a spiritual side, not just linked with the nature, but each and everything what we do on that basis. Being a doer is one of the most important thing, and we need to keep ourselves remind every time. And that reminding itself is a doer activity. So I would request everyone to please remind yourself being a doer in your day-to-day life. Now, from here onward, we are moving more towards closer, and may I invite some of our good friends from all different parts of the world globally to quickly do Shanti part, which is very much linked right now to all of us. I think at the very beginning time, I had mentioned when we started discussion with Dr. Datta also that Swamiji has mentioned about the peace for each and every single element in this world, and everything, whatever we can think, and here what we are going to do Shanti part. Can we please invite the team to do Shanti part, please?
Dhyao Shanti Mahi Shanti Ho, Aap Shanti Shashi Shanti, औषधियों की शांति हो और वनस्पति शांति, विश्वदेव की शांति हो, अक्षर अंतर शांति, पंच शब्द की शांति हो, अंतरिक्ष की शांति, शांति समुद्र अपार है, अमित अनंत है शांति, सो स्वरूप पर शांति हो, सर्व शांति हो शांति, निह अक्षर की शांति हो, नित्य असीम शांति, आप शांति सब शांति है, सर्व शांति में शांति, अज स्वीकृत गुरु शांति हो, स्वयं सिद्ध गुरु शांति, अभ्यास सिद्ध गुरु शांति हो, परंपरा गुरु शांति,
संत अंतरी शांति हो, मुक्त हंस की शांति, पूर्ण ज्ञान की शांति हो, भक्ति महासुख शांति, सहज समाधि शांति हो, जीवन मुक्त की शांति, दया धर्म की शांति हो, निज स्वरूप की शांति, विराग त्याग की शांति हो, उदासीनता शांति, सेवा जित शिष्य शांति हो, सत्य शांति हो शांति। हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो, शांति शांति मैं शांति, शांति शांति जन शांति हो, पूर्ण शांति मैं शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व शांति, देव सदा फल शांतिमय, शांति शांति सुख शांति।
Thank you very much, Siaji and Shivani for your beautiful voice. They are, I think, youngsters, teenagers for the Shanti part. Thank you very much for your contribution. And from here onward, just to recap quickly about today's discussion and everything what we heard, the objective is to not just create awareness, but also to act upon is very, very important. That's what we heard from Shri as well. And we heard lots of interesting things from Professor Datta also, who is connected with us right now from Lucknow, India, as an environmentalist. We learned a lot of things from him related with the environment and as well as spirituality. Thank you very much, Dr. Datta, for your time today with us. And along with this, I really like to thank everyone who had provided their support directly or indirectly for this event to make it happen as a successful event. Thank you very much, Chetanji. Thank you very much, Prachiji, Manish Guptaji from Europe, Vikas Srivastavji, Chandanji for handling all the Zoom session and everything, recordings and everything. Everyone who have contributed to a larger extent, small or big, every contribution is as valuable as all others. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much for your time. And thank you very much for your awareness about what we are looking for. If there is anything specific anyone wants to contribute or say, please feel free to unmute yourself. Otherwise, we will be closing it very soon. And most importantly, thank you very much, all the viewers, be it on YouTube or even on Zoom, if you are connected. Thank you very much for your time. The real objective, I repeat again, for all such kind of events, especially Peace Carnival, is, as the name itself says, the peace. Peace, as Stutiji at the beginning time was mentioning, that the peace is not just outside. Peace is coming from inside, and we must connect ourselves with each single one of us, not just inside, outside, and beyond that also. That's what the journey is all about. We must learn every day how we can contribute to the society, to the environment, and to each single person around us, so that we can lead our life in a much more peaceful way. As Sant mentioned, there is only one planet where we are right now at. There is no planet B. We must take our effort at our end to make things happen in right way at the right time before it gets delayed. Once again, thank you very much, each single one of you. I hope I have not missed out anyone's name. Thank you very much. And here, on the basis of the time, we are going to close this session. Thank you very much, Lal Maniji. Thank you very much, Satyam ji, and each single one of you who have contributed to this particular event. We would continue organizing such kind of event. Right now, we are doing Peace Carnival once in a year, but as a name tree event also once in a year on this platform. But as Shri mentioned, that it should be not just for one day, it should add up to all 365 days. It should be a daily event, one way or another, by contribution from each single one of us. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself. Have a nice time ahead. Remain safe and healthy. And Jai Sargudev.
Shivaji, one small video will be there. Will be played, Shivaji.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Have a great day. Thank you.
You are
not
just planting
a
Tree.
Is there still one more video we have to go through about, just quickly, if possible, or we are done? Sorry for the disconnect. So I think there was a team from Nametree whose videos are prepared. If possible, we can one more time run it, please. All these young fellow, those whom you just saw on the video, they are very much linked with the Nametree's activities. They have been doing incredible effort to do the plantation and make awareness for each single person here and there in India and otherwise also in different places of the world. Thank you very much. I think this is what the end of our whole session. And sorry, I forgot to mention the name. Thank you very much, Miss Maria from Mexico, for your contribution. Keep doing on the nice things. And I'm sure many of us will be inspired by you, by your activity as a doer. Thank you very much. Take care. Jai Sadgudev.
Namaste.